Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the Postscript Tag, and this was created by Memento Mori, and I was tagged by books I'm not reading. And the first question is the longest book you read this year and the book that took you the longest. I'm not sure if this took me the longest because it only took me a month to read, which is really good for such a long book. But my longest book was The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and this is over 1,200 pages. And yeah, that's definitely the longest. The ones that have taken me the longest, like The Stand. The Stand is the longest. I've been reading it since 2020, in March of 2020. Yeah, and I still haven't finished it, so that wouldn't be the one that took me the longest to finish. So I'm just going with this one, my big book. Number 2, a book you read this year that was out of your comfort zone. And that would be a couple of poetry books. The first one is Fang, Dandelion by Larocca. This was a beautiful book of poetry that was inspired by his time in lockdown, and I believe he wrote this while he was in lockdown to kind of cope. And there was some really beautiful imagery, and there was some really dark, disturbing imagery that was written in a very beautiful way. Eric has a way with words, so I'm glad that I stepped out of my comfort zone for that one. I also read another book in verse. Another book written in verse. I read it for work, and that was Out of the Dust by Hess, and it is a Dust Bowl Great Depression story about a young girl and her family dealing with hard times on a farm. And both of those books I ended up really loving, really enjoying. They both got 5 stars, and all because I stepped out of my comfort zone. Prompt 3, how many books did you reread? I reread 4 books, 2 for work, and 2 I picked myself. The ones for work were Touching Spirit Bear and The Odyssey. This time it was an illustrated and abridged version for younger students, and the illustrations really added something to the story, but it was not my favorite edition. I liked the full book. I also found that I didn't remember a lot of the things and adventures that went on in the Odyssey, so that was like reading it for the first time. And then the books I chose to read were The Fisherman by John Langan, which is my favorite book of all time. It's a literary horror, bit of a cosmic horror type thing. Deals a lot with grief. I read it in January. I lost my father in December, and I thought it was time to give this one another read. And then, so I didn't bring out the other book. And I also reread Spiritbound by Rochelle Mead, which is the 5th book in the Vampire Academy series, which I reread a lot. So that was fun. And then question 4 is, what was your favorite reread of the year? And of course, that has to be The Fisherman, John Langan. There's a reason it's my favorite book. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. Question 5, a book you read for the first time that you look forward to rereading. That's a hard question. There's very few books that I reread. only favorites, but I have a desire to reread a couple of the books I read this year. And one of those is Lola on Fire by Rio Yours. And this was just a fantastic thrill ride of a thriller. And I read this so fast. It's not that short, but I read this. I just ate it up. I did not stop reading once I started. And yeah, this is a very bingeable and rereadable book, I think. I've been wanting to reread it. Lately, I've been seeing it pop up a couple places, and I'm like, ooh, that was good. I want to read it again. And my favorite book of the year remains by Andrew Cole. Wouldn't mind giving this one a reread as well. It was so good. Number 6, favorite single short story or novella you read this year. I have one of each. The favorite novella of this year is Crossroads by Laurel Hightower, which is a really emotional horror novella about a woman who loses her son and what she would do to see him again. And then my favorite short story of the year is from this collection, Bloodchild by Octavia E. Butler, and it is the main story, Bloodchild, that was my favorite from this so far. I've read 3 of the stories so far, and I hope to finish it in 2022, hopefully. So, Bloodchild was such a great story of the strange, interconnected relationship between an alien species and humans. 7, Mass Appeal. A book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. For that one, I'm going with Boy's Life by Robert Mccammon, because there are a whole lot of different genres and things going on in this book, and it is done so well. I think anyone who likes any of those things would probably enjoy this book. It's a coming-of-age story. It's got some magic, fantasy elements. It's got some horror elements, but not too much to scare off any reader. It has adventure. It has mystery. And it's an all-around fantastic book that I think a lot of people would like. Number 8, Specialized Appeal. A book you liked but would be hesitant to recommend to just anyone. That one, I had to take a look through all my books, and I decided the one that is the most hesitant I would be to recommend it to just anyone for the books that I liked would be Your Turn to Suffer by Tim Wagner, because the content in this book is a lot, and it really surprised me because from the description of the book, it was very vague and basically said I knew it was going to be about some evil cult, and it was a lot more than that. There was an evil cult in it, but that is just scratching the surface. This was such a weird book. Weird, yes, definitely. And graphic, very, very graphic, with gore and sexual content that is, weird, not cute. So, yeah, this is like somebody's worst nightmares kind of scooped up and put together. Yeah, and I don't know, I weirdly loved it, even though it's a lot. And then number 9 is to reflect on your year as a bookish content creator. Well, let's see, Goals. I had a goal of finishing 5 series. I met that goal, so go me. Some of them were duologies. Others were novellas. But I did it. 5 series completed. I had a goal of reading tomes over 500 pages. I wanted to do 10. I made it to 9. Actually, I'm not sure I'm going to finish the 9th one by the end of the year. So 8. But I think that's pretty good. I wanted to read 100 books, and I read 109 books. So that's awesome. I wanted to read 30,000 pages, and I read 32,000 pages. So hooray. I did meet some subscriber milestones this year. I have to look back and see. I think I started the year at under 500 subscribers. And meeting that 500 subscriber mark was a huge deal. I got to do my, was that 600, 500 or 600? I can't remember, but on my 4th Booktube Anniversary in June, I met one of those subscriber goals on my, or close to my 4-year Booktube Anniversary. It was either 500 or 600 subscribers, and I got to do my big giveaway, so that was a big highlight for the year, giving away my 2020 favorite books. And I look forward to giving away my 2021 favorite books when I hit the next big milestone. Woo! Yep, looking forward to it. I also got to co-host some readathons this year. I went from not co-hosting any readathons to co-hosting 2 this year. It's very exciting. We had the Bookworms New Year's readathon and New World's November, a new reading event. I guess it's not a readathon, but a reading event that will be coming back next in 2022, I'm pretty sure. And that has led to a fantasy-based reading event that will be going on in February, and there will be more information about that coming up soon. So a lot of new opportunities, new fun things have opened up for me this year. Yeah, for that I consider myself very lucky, and it was a pretty great year as far as my content creator part of the year. So I'm not going to tag anyone specifically for this. It is almost the end of the year, and I know this is kind of a wrap-up of the year type tag, but I'd love to see my horror content creator friends do this one, or anyone else. It's a really fun one to wrap up the year, and I'm curious of how your years went. If you... Loki. Looking in the wrapping paper. Okay. I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.